Welcome back to Satisfactory. Since the last episode I have done extensive work. I would like to progress the factory into the next tier of the research. So the first thing that I want to go through is what I have researched. We're in the hub at the moment, and the hub items that I have researched are on tier 4. So I got the advanced steel production. That means that I get the minor MK2s, which I have liberally already started taking use of. And also the encased industrial beams, but we'll get back to that. Also gives me the option of making stators, which together with rotors will give us the opportunity to make motors. And then we have the automated wiring. I don't know what the recipe for that is yet, but we'll see. I've also taken logistics MK3, so that we get conveyor belt MK3s, which I have also already taken liberal use of, together with conveyor lift MK3s. Haven't built any industrial storage containers yet, because I don't want to build them up here. Those are rather to be used down in the mall area. Also, we get the stackable pipeline support, which probably will be quite useful when I need to set up more rows of the coal power plant extension, which will be coming very soon. So those are the three... No, wait, I also got hypertubes. Now these little babies are quite fun, but we'll get back to that. So these are the three technologies that I've gotten from the hub. I haven't bothered taking the job pads, but we can do that right away so that we just have the completionist. I'm not sure if I'm going to... Wait, do I need... Yes, I need to go pick up a batch of iron platelets. Can do that over at the iron platelet thing. Also, I'm just shredding quick wire. So, because I need to shred something, and getting the coupons is nice. Where are they? There they are. Let's grab a few stacks of those. Can put that back in and sort. It's nice to get those coupons, and the coupons are actually quite important as well for some of the stuff you need. But anyways, let's put this in there, and then we have... Oof.
Milestone reached. Several buildings aimed at factory traversal can now be accessed in the build menu. Caution is recommended during use of these products.
Yes, I experienced that when I tried to jump down on one of those jump pads, like the jelly pads in the last or the last series that I had. It didn't work very well. That was probably a bug, or I was jumping down from too high, but they might have fixed them now, or we'll see. I might not use them actually. Then we have the awesome shop. In the awesome shop, I got the ramp expansion pack so that I could get inverted ramps and double ramps. These are the 8 meter by 4 meter and 8 by 8 meter ones. And I also got the... No, I think that was the only thing I got actually. The rest I got in the previous episode. But yeah, getting things like factory railings and stairs. I should probably get stairs at some point, but they make me dizzy. So that's why I haven't bothered. Walkways, you get them in here. These wall mounts sadly doesn't work on the side of the foundation. I've tried with the... I have one kind of wall mount somewhere here. Or maybe not. Oh well. Anyways, let's go back inside. We have the MAM. In the MAM, I've done extensive work. First of all, I got the color gun and the color cartridges. I will explain why I decided to get those. I also got overclock production so that I can start overclocking things, and I'm also carrying around a little batch of green batteries or green power shards for that. I got medical properties. This is under the mycelia. Oh, I can't show it because we need to do this as well. Under the mycelia 3, and then I got mycelia tree, and then I got the medical or medicinal inhaler under the mycelia 3. There is another one under the alien organisms one, so I'm not sure if they're different or whatever, but we'll figure that one out as well. Then under the Caterium node, I got the AI limiter so that I can progress further down that one. Under the power slugs, I got slug scanning, because why not? And then I also, under alien organisms, got the rebar gun and the spiked rebars, which actually was quite handy when I was dealing with one of those larger spitters, because you don't really want to get too close to those, and shooting it with a rebar gun, even though it's slow, was actually more handy. I also went on a little trip getting 4 more hard drives so that I could get a few more of these alternate blueprints. This is the final one, the 4th one. So the 3 I've already gotten is the quickwire stator. That one requires 4 steel pipes and 15 quickwire, which then produces 2 stators for a total of 8 per minute, which I assume means 16 steel pipe and 60 quickwire per assembler doing that. Then I got the encased industrial pipe, which takes 7 steel pipes and 5 concrete to make 1 industrial beam with a production rate of 4 per minute, which I then assume is 28 steel pipes and 20 concrete per assembler. I might switch to that because I would rather use the steel pipes than the steel beams for making the industrial beams, but I'm not sure of the efficiency of it yet. And then finally I got the fine concrete. That one is probably one that I'm not going to use, but it was the most sensible choice of the 3 I got, because actually 2 of the 3 I got are still present here. I got the alternate blueprint for gunpowder, which is 2 sulfur and 1 compacted coal for 4 black powder. I was kind of hoping that I would get better than these. Steel screws too, like why would I want to make steel beams into steel screws? I mean, using both iron ore and coal to make screws when I'm already overproducing screws extensively as is? No, I don't think that's a good thing. Albeit, you get 260 screws per minute, but that means it's gonna chug up these steel beams at an alarming rate. But fine concrete anyways, that is 5 silica and 12 limestone, which then is converted to 10 concrete, and the production rate is at 25 per minute. So I guess that means 12.5 silica and 30 limestone per minute. And I don't want any of these. I'm just going to pick the alternate blueprint for gunpowder in the hope that these disappear when I collect more hard drives. I'm probably going to go on an excursion into the green area because that's where the simplest wrecks are to be found. So, yeah. So that's what I've been doing in terms of research, Awesome Shop, and MAM research. Now, the game has presented me with a very interesting conundrum. I guess nature is taking its revenge, because in the middle of my iron plate production facility, this tree has decided to grow. This constructor here is probably not in the best of shape thanks to that. Oh, that reminds me, I haven't connected these, which I should be doing. Let's see here, because I have attached MK3 belts from the smelting array up there. I'll show that shortly, so that we are actually getting enough to run all of these. I think it's 16 now. Yeah, it is 16 constructors making iron plates. Might be overkill, might not, who knows. But iron plates is something that's used for a lot of things. Okay, so let's go here. These are now MK2 miners, so they produce 240 ore per minute, and this is of course an MK3 elevator, MK3 belts. You can see that on the when there's 2 of these flat lights, that means it's an MK3 belt. When it has 1 dot, it's an MK2 belt. And for the MK1 belts, you have 3 tiny lights like that. Haven't gotten the MK4 belts yet, so I don't know how those look, but I would assume that there are 3 of these dashes. So now, these 2 iron mines, I've changed a bit of how they are transporting up. Instead of having this swirly, squiggly bit here, they are now elevated up through the lift system and coming all the way down here. And one of them drops off here and goes into these 8 smelters here. And then the other one drops off here and goes into these 8 smelters. So these 16 smelters are producing iron ingots, and those iron ingots are then being transported down. I had to do this because I can't get room for an elevator here, I think. Maybe, but then the ingots are transported down and into here. And I had to do the same little finagly... Can I please climb up on this? Thank you. And I had to do the same little finagly thing in here, because I don't think there's room for an elevator in here either. But, I mean, this isn't a problem. I mean, yeah, the elevator would look better, but I'm pretty sure there's no space for an elevator in between here. And I can't make do without a splitter to split between those, and I don't want to extend the line and have a space between this tree. I was most amused by this tree. As for other things that I have done, I haven't done anything here yet, but I have upgraded these 2 mines as well, the ones behind here, so that they are MK2. But I've connected up the smelters so that all the 8 smelters in both of these arrays are now producing iron ingots, but I haven't connected up the 4 on the end here, nor have I connected up the 4 on the end here. I'm not sure what I'm going to be using this iron for. One thing I know I won't be using it for is producing screws, because I think the screw production array we have here is going to last us for a very long time, if not for the entirety of the game. But I suspect that I might need more iron rods, so that's probably what I'm going to use it for. I would rather overproduce a bit. My philosophy in these production games is to always overproduce rather than to underproduce. I have not upgraded the mine up there yet, so that's still an MK1 miner. But that's fine, of course. I haven't really got a major need for copper. Up here I've set up a small array of machinery to make solid biofuel. So whenever I come back, and here you can see I've used the color gun. So this one is producing biomass from leaves, and this one is producing biomass from wood. And the same with this, so that I remember which one to put what in. This is for wood, and this obviously is for leaves, but they are empty. These are not empty. So we have biomass here. I don't think I'm gonna need all this biofuel. Or solid biofuel. I'm not using very much of it with my chainsaw. Not that I'm using the chainsaw very often now. The only time I use it is actually when I need to clear out an area, and then I go dump the results in those containers and get the solid biofuel. I've also restructured parts of the bus here. You can see there are several of the lines going into the bus that are either empty or just not connected. This one, I'm emptying this into the shredder. I might actually, I'll do that right away so that I don't forget. Disconnect this. And I don't know why those are in there. so that we can empty out the container of screws, because I definitely think that it will suffice with 2 of these currently. And then I diverted 2 of the belts of screws so that they are now going this way instead. You can see an elevator going down there and an elevator going down there, and both of them are now sending the screws over here to these 4 assembling machines. I'm also getting one of the iron plate belts over here from the iron plate array. It's now sending in iron plates here, so that we have 4 assemblers making reinforced iron plates. And as I mentioned in the previous episode, I could not really see any kind of benefit to using the alternate recipe here. That would be the bolted iron plate, because it uses it's a bit more efficient on iron plates, but it's definitely not more efficient on screws, so just gonna keep it at that. Over here I have an array of 4 assemblers that are making baby Borg cubes, aka modular frames, so we have a full container of those. We also have a full container of reinforced iron plates somewhere. I don't remember. Oh yeah, I lifted them up there because those are required for building the baby Borg cubes. So I have a container at the end here. Now these will obviously be transported out of the base and down to the main base. Well, I guess this is the main base currently. Saying that this is the main base is kind. Well, I mean, there's nothing at all down on the desert platform. Yeah, there's stuff at the the copper outpost, but down there near the coal power plants, the actual only thing that's going on down there is power generation and copper extraction. But yeah, I have those things up and running. These 4 concrete manufacturers have been diverted. As you can see, there is no longer going any belts off there. Instead, the belts are going over there. But before we go into that, let's go down here to the steel array. I've, thanks to the very handy ability of having MK3 belts, I am now using, is it 8? Yes, it is 8. 8 foundries. The final of the foundries do not receive enough iron ore or coal. I don't remember which one. I think it's actually coal, because if I do a quick calculation here, take 45 times 8, I come to 360. But I do know it might be iron ore actually. It is iron ore, because I have 2 belts now of coal coming in, as you can see. And 1 belt of coal can, when it's transporting 45 times 5 is 225, which means that I have overclocked the first one here to 134%, so that this is using all the coal on the belt, and that then is transported over here. As you can see, I've actually done a mistake with that belt, so I'll fix that up, but I won't do it in this episode. I will do it between recordings. On this side, on the left side from this side, I'm producing steel beams. On the right side, I'm producing steel pipes. So I have 3 constructors making steel pipes, and I have 6 constructors making steel beam. But with that alternate recipe, I might change that, the alternate recipe for the industrial beams. So we have a container here that is now full of steel beams, and we have a container here that should be full of steel pipes. Of course it's full of steel pipes, I'm not using them for anything yet. Except for my manual construction work. This one then lifts up here and over here to these 2 assemblers, and these 2 assemblers are of course producing encased industrial beams. I have not yet made a container for these, mostly because I don't know whether or not that alternate recipe with the steel pipes is more efficient. Let's have a look at that actually. Production assembler, and we can place an assembler down there. Alternate encased steel pipe. It's using 28 steel pipes per minute and 20 concrete, as opposed to 24 steel beams and 30 concrete. That is producing 4 parts per minute, whereas this is producing 6 parts per minute, so I need more of the assemblers to get the same amount of products. But if I'm not mistaken, that is definitely more... These produce 20 parts per minute, whereas these produce 15 parts per minute for 60. So 60 to 15, or 30 to 20. So 60 goes to 40 of these, whereas 60 of these goes to 15 of these. So it's a pretty high likelihood that I will change these steel beam or encased industrial beams to the steel pipe recipe. I'm gonna have to do some calculations, and those calculations, I usually spend quite some time on them, so that's one of the reasons why I'm doing this the way I am, just showcasing, featuring, doing a little bit of building. I won't do any building in this episode because I don't have that much time today. But let's head down here. As you can see, there are 2 MK3 belts now carrying coal in here. Down here we have upgraded these miners to MK2, which was the plan all along. I have no idea where I put the tractor. Oh, it's all the way out there. I need to upgrade the belt going into, like, the middle belt there. That one needs to be upgraded to MK3 all the way down to the coal power plants, and then I will also build another array of coal power plants as well. Now, someone has mentioned in the comments on my tutorial about the coal power plants that they are able to run 10 or 12 or even more coal power plants at full efficiency with less than ideal conditions on the well, the ratios are off when it comes to the both coal input and water input. Now, I don't think that's a bug. I think it's very simply explained by the fact that... Let's stop here, near a power pole. I could use as many coal power plants and pipes and water pumps as I wanted, but when I've built 8 of them, as long as I'm not using the maximum capacity of power, the coal power plants aren't running that much if it's still the same way that it was. So the simple explanation for that is your setup will not work when you're running at peak efficiency. Then you're going to run into problems. That is why the optimal setup of 8 power plants on 1 MK2 belt with 3 water extractors is the way I recommend doing it. So unless it's a bug or the developers have changed something massively, but then it would be a bug because the mathematics add up. Your power plants are working because you're not using them at peak efficiency. That's why. I will probably respond in the comments to that as well. Now, there is a new coal outpost up there. Let's drive out there. And actually, before I continue, let me do something here. I need to change the keyboard and do that. And this and r.fog0. I can't stand that fog. There we go. Looks so much better. You can see the coal mine in the distance there. We're probably going to run into a bunch of doggies, hogs on the way here. There's usually a gang of 4 of them just at the other side of this hill. Yep, here they are. But as long as you're in the car, do note there's a radioactive thing here. As long as you're in the car, they don't really bother you. There was also a spitter out at this coal. Yep, there it is. It's a small one though, so... This one is a pure coal node, so it's producing 240. I'm using an MK3 belt for it and taking it back to the base. And that's what I'm using for steel, the foundries. That's a big hog, by the way, just so you're warned. You'd think you'd damage them when you did that, but they don't take any damage from it. Oh, and what I did, if you have a non-English keyboard, that won't work, the console thing. Or rather, if you don't have a keyboard with the paragraph/tilde key available, so I have to change the keyboard to English. You click Ctrl-Shift-L, and then you open the console by clicking the tilde key afterwards. Ctrl-Shift-L, and now it doesn't work because I'm on the wrong keyboard. And then you get the console. You can probably see it barely at the bottom there. And you just type r.fog0, and if you for some reason want to turn it on, you can click r.fog1, but I want to have it off. I should remember to do that before I start recording in the future, but it was useful to show you guys. Now these are MK3 belts. Come on. Because what I've done down here is that I have upgraded the mines to MK2. Which means that 2 of these is now enough to saturate 1 MK3 belt fully. Also note that the hogs out here do respawn, as you can see, and they're angry and all that, and want to kill me, eat me. Also note that the various plants with snacks, they do also respawn. If they are far away enough from your base, I've noticed. So down here somewhere there was a berry bush. There it is. I've picked this berry bush previously. Ah, it hasn't respawned because this is too close to something that I've built. But... okay, that's just a tree thing. But the snack tree over there, I've harvested that twice. Let's go back to the base. I have 3 belts, not tree belts, 3 belts. That's also a snack tree I've harvested several times. 3 belts coming in here. There's a bug in this area. I think there's a cave here somewhere, because occasionally when I come here there are 4 spiders standing out in the open there. I don't know what that's about. But I'm sure that Coffee Stain will fix that eventually, before they put this experimental release onto the actual release tree. I don't think I'm going to bother too much with driving the tractor all the way back home, because it is so darn slow. But I have a few things that I want to show you still. At least one thing. I built a fence down there so that I don't drive into the poison field by accident. Okay, I'm gonna drive the tractor all the way back to base. Oh, this thing is so slow. I can't wait until I get the tripod. Even though this one has a workbench and a crate that I can stuff things in, so it's very useful as a building vehicle when you're out in the fields. Well, let's see here. Driving over to the storage warehouse area. And we can park the car here. I'm also upgraded that one to MK2, so all of these 4 are producing concrete, and those are the ones that are now going into the warehouse. And then we have this little fun thing here. Whee! I was kind of curious about how you actually ended up when you boom out of the thing, but it doesn't seem to be too bad. Looks awesomely cool. And it's so useful. I'm gonna build those between my various outposts so that I don't have to drive if I have to go somewhere quickly. Particularly, I will want to have one near the mall area where I'm going to store all of these resources over at the base over there. And the base over there, that's where I'm going to have the 3rd and 4th type of assemblers, the ones that work with 3 and 4 products. And if I need to make more reinforced iron plates or baby Borg cubes, I will either just build them up there so that I don't have to make long belts of iron plates going down there. I'll just manage with 1 belt of those. Because I can always make a 2nd story up there, if necessary. I'm storing cable temporarily here because I ran out of cable and it was very annoying. Not having enough cable is quite annoying when you're building a base. Not recommended at all. And just getting 100 at a time, since this one is not enabled, because I also want to have copper wire. It's not ideal, I just tell you that. But that's... oh, there's another snack tree that I definitely have harvested. But if you see the snack trees over here, I think that they are too close to the base. And they don't respawn anything. I might be mistaken, and they don't respawn at all, but it definitely seems as if they respawn, because I'm pretty sure that I've harvested several snack trees multiple times. But not the ones that are too close to your base. So these you can, if you want to. As in, if they are in the way, you can remove them. But that's about what I've done in between episodes. It's been a lot of work, a lot of planning. And I'm loving it, I must add. My slight tendency to pedantisms, it's actually... I don't use this word lightly. I know how... I have friends who suffer from actual OCD, and I know how horrible a condition that can be. But I have a slight understanding of at least how it must feel from time to time. Like someone commented on my video with the copper outpost that they could almost hear my brain explode when I discovered that the smelters was 1 off. And yeah, Satisfactory kind of brings out that side in me very, very badly. I want everything to be in perfect structured sense and all that. So it's like, But I'm having fun, and that's the most important part. And I actually like those little... It's, of course, it isn't OCD. It's just propensity for having things very orderly and similar. So I'm having fun with that. I'm actually enjoying making sure that things are in perfect alignment and things like that. So, yeah. To anyone out there with OCD... you have my empathy. It must be a very, very stressful thing to struggle with. And this, of course, is not OCD. But all those things said, and all those things that I have built, shared and showed, and also the magnificent tree, which is going to be featured in the thumbnail, definitely. Nature is taking its thing back. That tree is definitely a very stubborn tree, growing up through concrete foundations and even through this poor constructor here. Man, that is a very determined tree. But all those things said, all these things showed, thank you all so very much for joining me, and Of course, as always, feel free to leave comments and questions in the comment section. And just before I go, there is one thing that I want to show you. Someone commented on my video. This is slightly embarrassing, I was not aware of this. If you go into dismantle, hold down control, you can actually dismantle several things in one go. Just be very careful so that you don't select something in the background before you do it like this. So you can't unmark them, so you'll have to, at least I haven't found a way to unmark them. So you have to be very careful when doing this inside of your base, but voila, foregone. So yeah, I'll see you all next time, guys.